Well, open your damn eyes in. It's the old-timey country down-home red state update podcast and them. Coming to you from a bunker underneath Jackie's Market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And here they are, both of them.
Hey, welcome to Red State Update. My name is Jackie Brawls.
What are we supposed to do now?
Huh?
Trump is gone.
Yeah.
It's been 4 or 5 years of us bashing Trump.
Well, yeah.
It says in our bio on LinkedIn, Trump hating rednecks, which would be a good name for our next album.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of maybe in that old, looking like you went to Dollywood and you got a picture made in the old West town, and maybe kind of like maybe somebody embossed like with a Waylon Jennings font on a leather wallet. You know, that kind of look for the album. Maybe we're standing in cowboy garb, looking like Young Guns too.
You just
shoulder to shoulder.
You just sold that one for me right there. Yeah, I'm ready for that. Let's a whole album of it. Yeah.
Trump hating rednecks. I think we may have missed our chance. Well, I mean, when he takes office again in 4 years, we can, run down, have a few copies pressed. It just feels like we need something. Maybe we need to redefine our mission statement. Maybe I should bring a whiteboard in here and we just start brainstorming. I know he's not really gone, and I know the damage he caused will haunt this nation forever. And I know the cracks he placed in democracy could still cause the whole thing to crumble. And I know that his minions are still in Washington, backing away from the slightest bit of criticism they give him after he incited an insurrection on American soil, the president of the United States. I know all that. It just feels like Trump is gone and we need to address it in some major way that possibly redefines our very existence.
Hey, you got me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have any ideas either. I just felt like we needed to say something.
I tell you what I did, and I'm not suggesting that's what you and I both do, but as soon as Biden put his, I stayed up at night because, everybody said, I hope it happens. I hope everything goes okay. I mean, whether it be me and you concerned about what was happening, or if you're in QAnon, and there was a lot of things riding on inauguration.
It's important to remember that was just a few days ago.
Yeah,
that we were worried about them blowing everything up.
Yeah,
that was Wednesday.
I think it was. Yeah, here we are.
Time has sort of blurred into itself at this point. But yes, you're right. That we were worried that they were going to blow stuff up. I'm still a little worried, but at least we made it past Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I mean, so far, things are still terrible. That we see it every day. The coronavirus is killing more and more people. There's 25 million people in the country now. I think that happened yesterday. They got it. And Biden needs to get moving, just like Trump said to all the states when he gave them the coronavirus. He said, get going. There it is. But I'll tell you what I did. Let me tell you what I did. I didn't tell you what the hell I did. As soon as Biden, got sworn in, Kamala Harris got sworn in, everything's okay. They sang a couple of songs. I can't remember all of them. I went to damn bed. And I know they did fireworks and stuff all night and all that stuff in Washington. But I ain't slept that hard in a long time. I ain't had a sleep like that. I think it was two days. I had to get up and take care of Miss Brawls. She's fine, by the way. In all this mess, she's happier now. But yeah, well, I woke up and I thought, no, he couldn't. Oh, okay, he's gone. But yeah, I don't know what to do.
You got a crick in your neck from sleeping hard on it.
Well, yeah,
so long and hard. You got that crick in your neck.
That'll happen, yeah.
It does feel like he's gone. Getting him off Twitter, no matter what your little quibbles about freedom of speech, it really feels like he's gone. If he still had Twitter, we would not feel like that motherfucker was gone.
Hey, watch your mouth. But no, huh? And I'm somebody that don't even get on there and look at it, but everybody all day is telling me what it says on it. So it don't matter whether you're on the computer or not. It's going to get everywhere. It's just what,
I guess maybe it's dangerous for us to say that he's gone, because he's not gone. He's in Florida somewhere, hiding like a dangerous exotic lizard that escaped from Scarface's house, or one of them boa constrictors everybody had for pets, and now you can't walk 3 feet in Florida, apparently. It's been a while since I've been there, but apparently you just walk down the street, them snakes is grabbing for your ankles. That's Trump.
Well, yeah.
Trump is one of them terrible exotic animals that has escaped and now is polluting the swamp with his fucking lineage.
Speaking of exotic,
he had a bunch of little baby snakes.
Exotic animals, didn't he pardon or commute something with that Tiger Man, crazy Tiger Man or something?
He didn't pardon. This is Trump's. I would love to know Trump's thought process on this. He would not pardon the Tiger King from the TV show, but he did pardon some other exotic animal swappers. Am I right? Is that right? Or
I thought he commuted his sentence, at least, if it didn't pardon him, because they said he had a limo come pick him up or something like that.
No, yeah, but that was because he was waiting for the pardon. He didn't get the pardon.
Oh, he didn't get it. All right.
Yeah, they reserved a limo to come pick him up, but he did not get pardoned.
Now, who knew?
Well, now I got to make sure. Folks, hang on while I Google Tiger King. Jesus Christ. This fucking year.
Hey, watch your mouth. Now, a lot of these people, this abuses me, because various people evidently paid upwards to $200,000, $300,000, $75,000, different prices. But from what I understand, whether it was Giuliani or some other people, you had to give that much just for him to even consider pardoning whoever it was you wanted him to pardon. And then some of the people paid that money, and he did not pardon who they thought they was paying to get pardoned for. And it did not take place.
Folks, I'm really sorry. It is important for us to keep reminding you what a con job President Trump was. But I don't want to be a nostalgia podcast like them shows that just talk about TV shows in the 80s. That's what we do over on Patreon.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be that for Trump. You remember when he did this? Shit. But that would give you years of content. If you went day by day for the last 4 years, I mean, there's like 9 things that happened every day. You'd be doing podcasts till they had implants in your ear. Cochlear implants. Is that what you'd call it? Cochlear?
What is it?
So Tiger King Joe Exotic reacted to not getting a pardon. His corrupt friends all come first, Tiger King. That's just my voice. It started out almost being a parody, trying to do the Tiger King Joe Exotic voice, and I'm like, that's just kind of my voice. His corrupt friends all come first, Tiger King Joe Exotic. He wrote a long-ass response to not getting pardoned from Trump. Wow. He said he was too gay to get pardoned. Tiger King lashes out at Trump. His corrupt friends all come first. They'd rented a limo. He was going to have a big old time. He really thought Trump was going to. I was over Tiger King, and because there's moments in it where you feel sorry for Joe Exotic, and I know he hurt all them animals. Just number one. And then
that's why I didn't look at it. I never did watch it.
Now Trump got me
because he hurt. I can't watch him.
Well, don't watch it now.
I'm not going to.
But you doesn't. It's not an episode of him going around hurting animals. It's over. That was a part of it of this year. You don't have to watch it now. It's a whole other year. We don't have to think about Trump when we do. And we don't have to think about Tiger King. Yet here we are. Man, he's fucking his shit up from the grave, even though he's not dead. So he got me feeling sorry for Joe Exotic again. He's got me thinking about Joe Exotic again. This motherfucker will not let go of my brain. Maybe it is a derangement syndrome. So Tiger King did not get pardoned. They had the whole thing planned. So, but he didn't work out. Just like a lot of things have not worked out for a lot of people over the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So that is where I had to look that up, folks. A little on-air research for you. I hope you did not. I hope you see what the links we go to. Maybe this is what we do now. Maybe we just like look up people, the subjects of reality shows. Maybe we should see what happened to the Osbournes. Are they still alive?
Oh.
I just feel like we need to see what happened to the Justin and from Justin to Kelly. I know where Kelly Clarkson is. What happened to Justin?
Who is it?
Do we want to know? It seems sad. You remember American Idol?
What is the thing on
it? It was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess we go after Joe Biden. Do we go after Joe Biden? We did that. That's old for us. That's old news. We did that how many years ago? Making fun of Joe Biden. That ain't even. What's the point of doing that?
I just said folks, and I'm like, I guess I got to stop saying folks. I get on here and go, folks, people. That just sounds like Joe Biden now. People think, this guy's so far up Biden's ass. He talks like him. I've been saying that. I started it. I guess he was saying it first, but nobody knew because nobody cared. Now I got to care about Joe Biden? Fuck you. No way. I ain't going to care about Joe Biden. You can't make me. Now have I got to be mean to Joe Biden? Have I got to be nice to Joe Biden? I don't want to think about Joe Biden. Now I've got to care. Now I've got to like modulate my feelings for him. Well, you got to remember to be hard on him. We're supposed to be pushing him to the, also don't forget, did you forget that they just had guns in Washington? Why you start on Joe Biden? I don't know. I thought he was an asshole for like the past, like up until February. Now I've grown to really like him. Am I a monster? Am I supposed to? If I listen, folks, people. Oh, there I go again. Oh, what a nightmare! This is terrible. What am I supposed to feel about Nancy Pelosi? You see people online bashing Nancy Pelosi on the left. See people online bashing Nancy Pelosi on the right. Does that make me a centrist? Is that the worst thing you could be? I don't even think centrists like Nancy Pelosi. I may be the only person alive that likes Nancy Pelosi right now, except for Jenny's ice cream delivery people. If she tips, she may not. And then I see somebody online say something nice about Nancy Pelosi, and then I'm like, fuck her. Hey, I don't know where we're coming from anymore. I've got to define my lane. I can't be one of these people on Twitter just throwing out take after take. It's exhausting. The last thing we tweeted was about the King Kong Godzilla trailer. They said it looked like 100% Kongaganda. I mean, it does. Why are we supposed to hate Godzilla now? The sands keep shifting under my feet. I'm woozy. I can't get on solid ground, Jackie.
Don't ask me to help. I don't know what the hell to do. Hell.
Is Kamala Harris a cop? A feminist icon? Little black girls, little Asian girls watching her up there. Are we supposed to yank them into a closet and say she? Well, that's weird. That was a weird way to put this. Just turn them away from the TV. I don't know why I said yank them into a closet.
What the hell?
Yeah, where would that even come from? I just thought like you would, take them somewhere private so that you could scold them into realizing how much harm Kamala Harris. But then aren't you harming them? Who are we supposed? Somebody tell me the people that need the most harm right now so I can just focus on them. Probably Kevin McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to be at the top of the list. Rand Paul.
He's one.
And when I say harm, I don't mean that in a dog whistle, Laura Ingraham way. I'm not saying any physical harm needs to come to anybody. I just mean, who do we yell at on this podcast?
Well, I'll yell at Kevin McCarthy. I'll do that. And it shouldn't just be me yelling at him, I guess, because, they asked him today when all this started, because and I think it probably had a lot to do that some of them were scared for their lives when they were attacked. So a lot of them were a little, they weren't so divided on the issue right after it happened. And I remember Kevin McCarthy said, President needs to own up to what he did to make this happen. He said, even though when he wouldn't impeach him, he said the president's actions was responsible on and on. Well, it seems the further we get away from that happening and their lives being at stake, and now that they're all protected by a National Guard out there, it seems he's starting to say he was misquoted or I didn't say the right thing. He's saying, no, I said it's responsible, his response to it. He didn't, do everything he should have done after it started. That's all I was saying. I didn't say he was responsible for the insurrection itself. I tell you who is responsible, and he says this is his opinion, Kevin McCarthy. It's not mine personally, but he said all of Americans, need to, admit to what they've done to cause this happen. I would say everybody's a little responsible for this.
Huh.
Yeah, so y'all listening, yeah. Me, you, everybody listening there, Kevin McCarthy wants you to look in the mirror and, get right with yourself and admit to what it was you did to cause a violent insurrection to happen on the Capitol. Now, in his defense, I'll say that me and you, we might have made a video or two at some point in time that probably helped put one block in the road that was heading that direction. I'll take up my responsibility right there.
Do you think anybody who went to Washington at one point liked one of our videos on YouTube? You think, oh yeah, hell yeah, like they really give it to both sides. And some of them wasn't born. Some of them young ones was barely alive.
They don't know who the hell we are. Yeah.
So I'm going to say no. They would just be repulsed. But maybe some of them old ones. I got an old motherfucker, 60-year-old firefighter from Memphis with his feet up on Nancy Pelosi, my beloved Nancy Pelosi's desk. Maybe he might say, somebody might say, hey, look at this. And he might say, yeah, liberals. Probably was he said. I see right through them. Ooh, I wish I knew how to get to their desk and put my feet up on that and take some of their mail, leave them a quarter, call someone who cares. But that's as far as it'll go. Maybe somebody once said something. It was probably before we even got monetized.
Oh, yeah.
I do hope that if they did like us at one point, they got back on here and were like, oh, you should change this to Blue State Update. I thought I liked you, but I don't. Well, I got to go. My car's here. The lift, I called the lift. I'm going to the airport to storm the Capitol.
I think some people, like most people, don't use YouTube to listen to this. They use another part of the computer that I don't understand. But if you go to YouTube, as somebody showed me, and if you go down and look, there's usually at least a comment or two saying "Stop a Steal."
I need to read our comments more often. Now, the first two or three. When I see them, I'm like,
thumbs
it's hard
down.
to do a podcast.
Thumbs
down, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the comments on YouTube are good. Like people, we have a lot of people who listen on YouTube. who've been listening for a long time, who don't want to overthrow the Capitol. And we appreciate everybody listening on YouTube. There's a few people. Hey, you know what? Hey, what's up, YouTube? Jackie Dunlap here. Trump hating rednecks. Just want to say, hey, we appreciate y'all listening wherever you find us. If it's the cesspool of podcasting, because I think there was a lot of podcasts that had not been taken down. A lot of QAnon friendly, insurrection encouraging podcasts that I'm sure they did, but I do remember seeing some people say, hey, Apple, take your shit down too. So whether you're finding us on the podcasting cesspool or the YouTube cesspool or however you find us these days, we do appreciate it. Folks.
Thank you kindly, yeah.
People. It is a stressful time. It's less stressful, though. It is less stressful. Just that he's not on there tweeting at us.
Slept for 2 damn days. That's helping. That's something to be said for right there.
We're already moving into Biden has a Rolex. Biden has a Peloton. And that's strangely comforting. That these are the things people are mad about. I haven't even heard the word Rolex, I don't think, since that Ray Stevens song.
Well, it's a watch, right?
It's a watch.
Fancy.
Joe Biden's got one. A fancy watch. You know how fancy Joe Biden is.
Yeah.
With his watches. Peloton. That's a fancy bicycle you ride inside your house. And you watch other people on a video screen riding with you, and then one person screams at you to ride faster. So you buy a bicycle, and that costs a lot of money to ride in your house. And then you also, because nowadays, somebody figured out at some point, some genius capitalist market wizard figured out you get people to buy stuff, and then you also get them to pay every month for it. Who figured that out? I feel like in the 80s, whoever the comedian that had that, who figured out to put the shampoo and then repeat? Remember that joke?
What was it?
In your shampoo bottle, it says put some in your hand and repeat it. Do you remember that?
Well, it's on TV.
I don't know who I'm asking. YouTube, I reckon. YouTube, y'all remember that joke? Speaking of jokes, you see that Bernie meme when he's sitting in that chair with his mittens? Everybody, I showed you some of them.
That's pretty funny. The picture by itself, you don't need to put all the fancy stuff behind it. It's funny on its own. It's just good all by itself, him there, yeah.
Yeah, why do you don't need grumpy old men in space. Although that's Space Cowboys.
I wish they'd lived long enough. The other ones, I like Space Cowboys, that's fine. They go up there and die. One of them does. But if Odd Couple in Space, that'd have been good if they'd have done that. Or one of them up on space and the other one at Mission Control talking.
That would have been. He throw the
It'd be good.
He throws the spaghetti against the wall, but just floats through the air.
Yeah.
Now it's space garbage. That was that wasn't a good Walter Matthau.
Ain't good enough. I got the idea, yeah.
Lift off. No, that's not good either. He had a few different voices, especially as he got older. He started doing these funny little voices as he's walking around. You know what I'm talking about? You too?
Yeah, the worst one he did, you ever see that movie he did where he's a pirate?
I would love to.
I didn't understand what he said in it. He got trying to do a real big accent on that. I'm like, what the hell? It's fine. He's a pirate. I know, he's going to look for treasure or something, a sword fight, but I didn't understand one word he said in the whole thing.
Should that be the first movie we watch when we start doing Redneck Matinee again?
That ain't got no redneck to it. He's doing a pirate accent. Ain't none of it happening in America.
Look, it's 2021. Everything's different now. Wait, who Is that Roman Polanski? Maybe we shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, if you change the thing we do, and instead of doing, Southern movies, trucker movies, or whatever, do just pirate movies.
What's that one, Master Commander? Russell Crowe got mad. Somebody on Twitter was saying this movie's sleepy time boring head. And Russell Crowe said it got on there and said, "You shut your mouth, you dumb motherfucker. It's for adults, grown ups, like this boat movie."
I don't care who said it.
I'll come over and slap a shit out of you.
I want to.
Well, you know how he is.
That's a boat. That when I say that's more military. That's a boat movie, not a pirate movie. That's a boat. There's a difference.
Wait, would we have to watch all them Johnny Depp ones too?
I don't want to. I seen them enough. One of those is enough. I made 18 of them. That's the one. He's funny, talking, drunk, whatever. That you can't do that for 18 damn movies.
This feels nice, doesn't it? Instead of having to talk about, the overthrow of democracy and the shattering of norms that led to the overthrow of democracy and the constant chattering presence of a literal monster elected by half the country who love him, intent on the destruction of democracy. Just to sit here, two friends talking about Master and Commander. It feels nice, doesn't it?
It's all, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, Rand Paul was on TV saying that the election was not a fair election again today.
Well, he didn't say it was. He just basically didn't say one way or the other, which basically means yes. That's what he said, yes. For a minute there, it seemed like after their lives were in jeopardy and it was danger, it really seemed like some of these people were like, well, the hell with this. All right, this is what it took. 4 damn days before he gets out of office, whatever, how many days it was, a week. Finally, he did it. He did it. Something me and you said he's going to do a long time ago finally happened. They had enough. We're going to, even Mitch McConnell, like, no, we're going to do it in the Senate. I don't care what they're going to say. That's all gone. How many days has it been from that? Election was this week. Before that, the further we get away from it, who cares? It wasn't Trump's fault. It was all of your fault. Every one of y'all Americans, all of you did it. The elections, well, they were stolen. You can understand why they would do it. At least if they stole the election, which they did, people should be upset. I'm not saying they should take over the Capitol. Maybe another government building.
Like a bird sanctuary.
Yeah, a bird sanctuary. Take over one of those.
That was fine.
Yeah. All those people got to walk scot-free after that. Tore it up. Made a mess of it, everything. That's fine.
Trump had nothing to do with it. And if he did have something to do with it, I certainly didn't. And he probably didn't. Although we're still calculating which way I go on this has the most damage to my career. The jury's still out. We'll see. Most likely not. Me, definitely nothing. A lot of these people should go to jail. Most of them, not all. We should let a few out, but we should definitely make examples of them. Some of them, at least one or two. Probably some Congress people are going to be swept up in all this. That's a shame, but we could, cut one of them loose, right? Just make us all look good. We just need to pile on that woman, get her, set her loose. She probably is not going to become president in 4 to 8 years, right? We get rid of her, and we get rid of about, 30% of these the conspiracy ones, the oath keepers, most of them, the ones that aren't soldiers. Get rid of them.
Well, while you're getting rid of them, you might as well get rid of Liz Cheney just to be on both sides of it.
It's important to show both sides of an insurrection.
She's got to go.
So get rid of Liz Cheney, get rid of Boebert, get rid of most of the oath keepers. A few people can, go home with their mamas. It's fine. If they were people of color who were insurrectors, keep them in jail. That's just expected at this point. And then let's have a trial where we can talk about how terrible Twitter was to kick the president off of it. And after that, I think we really need to focus on unity, because the Biden administration has been so divisive. And I think it's time for everybody just to settle down, unify, forget everything they might be mad at me about, but just remember how I'm trying to uphold the Constitution and democracy by stressing unity and by not stressing the insurrection I played a part of.
We have got to come together to make sure all Americans do not get $2,000.
I think they are doing that, actually.
Are they going to do that one? Okay.
No, they're coming together to make sure we don't get it.
Oh, yeah.
We might get 1,400, but we're not going to, yeah.
No, they got 1,400.
So you say there's no unity. There you go. There's some unity.
Yeah.
I think we can all unify behind the fact that Godzilla is getting a raw deal in that trailer.
I
thought he was on our side.
I love all animals, first and foremost. I hate to pick a side on this one. But look, King Kong, how many King Kong movies did they make? How many can you count on? You can count them on your hands. I really, over the year, Godzilla, you got to have like octopus arms to count all those. He's giving a lot more to the, entertaining to the public than King Kong has. I think he's worthy to get just as much screen. Maybe that's what it is. He's jealous of. He's got so many movies. Let's focus on the King Kong on this one. Let's give him all the screen time.
Was there a Godzilla monster that was octopus arms and his job was just to count all the Godzilla movies?
There might have been on Monster Island, yeah. And
Counterzilla. Oh, I found this, Jackie, and it feels nice. Again, it feels nice to be talking about King Kong and Godzilla. Yeah. Even though what we were just saying about Kevin McCarthy and Rand Paul and the Republicans is just as frightening and angering. But Trump, this is some research I just did while you were talking. I know I read about Larry King, rest in peace, and how he was always a very present interviewer, and he was always right there. He didn't do any preparation for his interviews, Jackie. I feel that's a little bit like you and me.
Yeah, he made it look good, though. I would want to have to kiss on Marlon Brando. Nothing against him. I ain't judging men kissing or nothing. I'm just talking about if there was a man I was going to kiss, it wouldn't have been him or Larry King. That's all I'm saying.
So I did. He said, I wasn't afraid to be dumb. And so I'm not afraid to be dumb. I'm like dumbly asking, did not Trump, in the middle of our podcast, pardon some other like exotic animal person, but not Joe Exotic? And it's true. He did. Trump pardoned. I had to go to reptilesmagazine.com to find this. Trump pardoned snake trafficker in last days of presidency. Man, I'm going to say that's a better headline than half of what the New York Times had over the last 4 years. Trump pardoned snake trafficker in last days of presidency. Robert Bowker served 2 years probation for trafficking timber rattlesnakes. This is by John Verrata. It's one of his last acts as president. How much money did the snake man give Trump to get a pardon? Former President Donald J. Trump pardoned a man who was convicted of snake trafficking in the early 1990s. Robert Bowker was convicted of wildlife trafficking in 1993. Was Kurt Cobain even dead yet? After pleading guilty to trafficking 22 timber rattlesnakes. I mean, that just seemed kind of harsh. According to a report in the Sun Sentinel, he served 2 years probation. The snakes ended up at the Miami Serpentarium. What the fuck?
What?
I guess in Miami there's a Serpentarium. There's got to be devil worship there. There's got to be.
Oh, that's everywhere. You look under a rock. They're everywhere.
That's a good band name too. Like if you Serpentarium, which at the time was run by William Bill Hast. Hast was one of the most vocal proponents of snake venom research. I don't know what that means. According to the Sun Sentinel, he made a deal with a man named Rudy Cobra King Komarek. Komarek apparently would supply Bowker with 22 American alligators in exchange for 22 timber rattlesnakes. So they made a rattlesnake for alligator deal. The snakes made it, this is a good article, made it to Haas facility, the Serpentarium. But the jig was up. According to the Sun Sentinel, Rudy Cobra King Komarek served a 4-month federal sentence in 1993 for his crime.
Yeah.
So for years, Bill Haast would milk cobras and other venomous snakes to rapt audiences at the Miami Serpentarium. This is like a OnlyFans, right? But for snakes. His handling of venomous snakes caused him to get bitten 172 times. This is about Bill Haast, not the guy who got pardoned.
All right.
He got bit by a snake 172 times. This feels good, doesn't it? According to Wikipedia, Haast first developed so this just goes on to talk about Haast and how he got into snakes. But I don't know the connection between Trump and Robert Bowker, who got the alligators for the snakes. What was he going to do with the alligators? To me, this article, but of course it is in a snake website. So it's on Reptiles Magazine. So I guess you got to focus on, but wait, in an alligator snake too? So, I mean, a reptile?
It's a reptile, yeah, not a snake.
Okay.
Alligator ain't a snake. What do you
hold on a second. If a snake is a reptile and an alligator is a reptile, then how are alligators not also snakes?
Reptile.
As far as I'm concerned, alligator is snake.
The only crossover I get confused with sometimes is reptile amphibian. They're all slime. You know what I mean? They come live in by the water or something like that.
Why's one got a crocodile and one's got an alligator name? Are they all snakes too? Is a crocodile not also a snake?
You think whoever sat down with Trump to work out this pardon for this man, you think he asked these exact questions to that person?
I feel like this is how people... This is how people get into QAnon.
Sure. I pardon it, but tell me now, why? Before I sign this, why is an alligator a snake too? You tell me that.
Okay, hold on. I got one more. Just a little bit more, folks. This is where we'd be editing. We didn't talk about Fauci. We didn't talk about how happy he's been lately. It took 10 years off of him.
His skin looks better. It's like he cleared up. It ain't no rings under his eyes or nothing. Yeah, he's just having the time of his life out there talking science.
He's whistling all the time. Even when he's talking, somehow he's just constantly whistling and talking and whistling, laughing, talking, whistling. Okay, so... Robert Bowker pled guilty 3 decades ago to the crime of illegally transporting 28 snakes owned by Rudy Cobra King Komarek to a reptile house in Miami, the Serpentarium. It appears that the aforementioned monarch offered Bowker a bribe of 22 alligators. Oh, he didn't accept it. Oh, man, we've got a lot to learn. Folks, okay. We're going to do a little more research on the alligators, snakes. And next week, we'll come back and we'll give you the snake story, the real snake story.
That's good. We can plan something. We know what we're doing because, again, in this day and age, we're all confused. I don't want to say. So, yeah, next, I'm looking forward to that. Just snakes and alligators, yeah.
Yeah, we started off not knowing what we were going to do. And by the end of it, we're here. We've arrived at a destination I think we can all agree is going to be pleasurable. And maybe I should, instead of saying folks, people, I should say snakes, gators.
There you go.
Snakes, gators.
All making changes now, yeah.
Yeah, all right. This feels good. Okay. Now I can relax. I'm going to sleep for 2 days.
We knew we'd find our place in this new world. It just took a little time, but I'm glad we got it here, and I'm glad all y'all listening gave us an opportunity to find it. Look at that movie trailer, and every bit of it is King Kong does this, King Kong's friend with little children, King Kong is all of that. And then all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, he needs to whoop Godzilla's butt at the end of it. Let's throw that into it.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so important for them. But now, okay, now wasn't there another Godzilla versus King Kong, and in the American version, King Kong won, and in the Japanese version, Godzilla won, or is that just an urban legend?
I don't think there was but one version, but it was all a Japanese version. But I guess maybe they changed it for America. I can't remember. It's been years. I've seen Godzilla movies all my life. I'll tell you this much. That particular Godzilla movie, when he's fighting King Kong, boy, it sounds good, but I don't remember it being particularly good. There's other Godzilla movies I liked a lot better. Anything with a Mecha Godzilla, which is a big silver robot Godzilla, all of those are good. They made 4 or 5 of them.
God damn, you love Godzilla.
Well, I mean, like, they've been making them for years, and you know what you're going to get. As far as entertainment goes, it ain't no different. I mean, it is different. Like, I know what I'm going to get out of an episode of Gunsmoke. I know what I'm going to get out of Godzilla movie. He going to whoop a monster's butt, and a monster going to whoop his butt. And then at the end, somehow he'll, make sure he whoops that monster's butt again. But he gets hurt all the way. I remember that. I always didn't like it. Any animal getting hurt, I don't like, of course. But every time they whoop Godzilla so bad, he started bleeding out of his mouth and everywhere else. I hope it's new and I ain't got a bunch of that in it.
Man, so we do a Godzilla podcast? What are you saying?
I just talk about that thing. If you ain't watched it yet, I don't know if y'all seen it. Whoever's listening on here, they got a new movie trailer you can look on the computer or TV or whatever.
Snakes, Gators, welcome back to the Red State Update podcast. We do appreciate you hanging out with us as we chart a new course through the Trumpless America. We can only hope. And we do appreciate you going over to our Patreon. That's where y'all give us money. And we appreciate every dime, nickel, quarter, $5 bill that y'all give us. Now, if you give us $5 or more a month, then you get another podcast. It's called 20 Extra Minutes with Jackie and Dunlap. Now, you know me, and you know this son of a gun right here, don't you?
Right.
Jackie? Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all know us, and if you want 20 more minutes of us talking, usually we go off a little bit about politics, and then we go, well, that ain't what this one's here for. Or whatever. That was my Jackie impression. Sometimes I do an impression of Jackie.
If we're still mad, like real mad, which ain't often. I mean, you're mad all the time these days. But like sometimes we're still mad. Uh-huh. We just keep being mad on the other one. But for most of the time, it's like I was mad for a damn 30 minutes, 45 minutes, however long. Let's talk about, Maverick.
So that's patreon.com, Red State Update. Patreon.com/Red State Update. Go find us on Patreon. We appreciate any amount you give us. If you give us $5 or more a month, then you get to listen to us talk about Maverick. Probably not Maverick today. Possibly the A-Team as requested.
Somebody want to talk?
Possibly.
I'll save any comments I have on that for that. Yeah.
Right, we got to save our A-Team talk for 20 extra minutes. Now, we may get over there and talk about the A-Team for 15 seconds and be like, you know what? Time to talk about Smurf cereal or whatever it is. Hell, who knows what it might be. It might be some health problems Jackie's been having.
No, I don't get into that on here.
Well, people care, and it's a way for you to address the concerns.
People that dying out in the street. I ain't gonna get into whatever's going on with my damn prostate. Nobody needs to hear that.
Well, you're getting older and you hold all your emotions in, and it's good for you to have somebody talk about. And these people pay $5 to hear you talk about whatever it is. They didn't put any limits on it. Nobody, I promise you this, Jackie, nobody wrote to me and said, hey, I just signed up for Patreon, $5 a month. Do not let Jackie talk about his prostate. Nobody said that. Not one of them.
People give $5, and the people out in the world, seriously, it's pitiful. There's a virus, a plague going around killing people and whatnot. Last thing anybody wants to hear is me whine about how I go to the bathroom pee-wise. Nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear it. As much as I want to hear about it, I hear about it at the doctor, which nowadays on the computer. You can't even go to the doctor in private now. It's like, who's all looking at this? Because that's the reason I never did want to have a phone, because it's going up in the air everywhere. Anybody can look at it, get it, and listen. Not that anybody wants to hear about my prostate, but good Lord, if a doctor say, let me see this or do this or whatever on the computer, it's out in the air somehow. Anybody looking at that.
So you think that the government is monitoring, or that, I don't know, damn, over at, who is it? WikiLeaks. At WikiLeaks. I couldn't remember. WikiLeaks is talking about Jackie Leaks because of your going to the bathroom. Look, Jackie, you don't have to worry about who's watching this. I'm trying to get people to watch it who might care about you, and you're denying some of the people who care the most about you in this world a chance to listen and to help and to be a shoulder for you to cry on. Why do you want to deny people the chance to care about you?
That's between me and my doctor, and that's all that matters. It ain't going any further than that.
Well, who knows what they're releasing? They're dropping another drip. Everything sounds like going to the bathroom. All this talk, all the WikiLeaks talk sounds like going to the bathroom. He also did not pardon. He did not pardon WikiLeaks man. He did not pardon the other person. The Lakers. You know their names.
Snowden's in Russia. So that's another thing we didn't talk about on the other thing. There's a lot of bad stuff going on in Russia, which will probably still be going on by the time we get back. Yeah, we didn't talk about that on the news, but right now is when we asked for $5.
Assange. Oh, sorry. Yes, the part where we ask for money is where we show our most glaring weaknesses. We forgot the names of Edward Snowden and Julian Assange.
You did.
Not talk about them.
I said Snowden. I told you. I did forget it.
Both of us, neither one of us could remember. And although I did spend 5 minutes looking up snake magazines earlier, folks, we appreciate everything you give us. That's patreon.com/Red State Update. And that's one of the ways we keep the lights on and the computers running. Another way is local sponsors here on the Red State Update podcast. The folks here in Murfreesboro, the businesses, the small business people are some of the finest you'll ever meet. And we are proud to do our part. Local, civic-minded podcasters we are to tell you all about Murfreesboro and the businesses you can visit if you don't mind catching a coronavirus. We have done hundreds of these businesses, and there's always something good to talk about. And we are proud to highlight some of our favorites who give us $25 to talk about them on this podcast. It's truly great. We can't wait for the world to open up. I mean, I guess it's open here in Tennessee, but you know what I mean? Like,
well, safe. Open up where you don't get sick. Yeah, safe, I guess. Yeah. It'll be a while for that.
If so, it'll be a while, and there's so many great businesses to highlight. So we just want to run through a couple of them. Now, we usually do it in this segment called Local Sponsors.
Well, before I do my sponsor, I got a statement here from Todd. And forgive me, I got getting all this paperwork out. I'm trying to look at all this stuff.
Why you got so much paperwork for us?
Well, he writes stuff down and gives it to me. I can't read his handwriting half the time. I got to get my glasses on to see what the hell is. Well, my reading glasses. I got the other glasses, but my reading glasses I need to put on to see this. This is a statement from Todd. He's right off the gate, right out the gate here. It says, Jackie, I want to thank you for all that you've done in helping me help others. You did the best you could, and no one else would ask for much more for an older gentleman like yourself. Well, I guess I'm up in that, yeah. But let me see what it says here. I now must pass the reins of this wonderful project of mine to much more skilled and capable hands from now on. So, Jackie, if you will please introduce everyone to Killian Makes It Right. Okay. Now, Killian Makes It Right. It's the same. It's like it's Ann Landers. I was doing it first. Todd wanted to do it then. But I guess you send in letters to get for advice. Yes, Killian Makes It Right. Huh.
Why is this like the advice you were giving? Advice is for Todd, but he was taking all the credit for it.
Well, he put it. It was it was his idea, I guess, for me to answer questions or help people or whatever. But then
because you gave him some advice that helped him repair his marriage, is that correct? It all started with you going out on a limb to help Todd, I guess, who you consider a close friend. Is that correct? Would you say that?
Yeah. I mean, for somebody who's, you owe money to, whatever, he's...
Yeah, you owe him a lot of money for those theme songs.
Not a lot. I paid some of it off. I don't owe him a lot, but anyhow, that'll work.
Because he also kind of... Yeah, okay. Well, if you're fine with whatever's happening...
Well, it's not about being fine or not. Somebody gave you, or you owe somebody $25, and this is how it's supposed to work out. It's supposed to do a sponsor, and this is what it is. Well, I was asking Todd, wanted to help people out. People write letters. He give them advice. He got, problems. Everybody got problems nowadays. Hell, look out the window. You're going to see 4 or 5 people walking down the street without a mask on. Problem number 1, and probably 8 or 9 more than that. But so be it. I did my best to, just try to answer people's questions, give them honest advice. I'd say, yes, I am an older gentleman, as Todd mentioned earlier in his statement I have here. But, I figure someone up in here's got something what you call experience. Been around the world a few times. And as strange as things are, and as crazy as things are this day and age, I still, there's a few things I recognize. Few things I can point out that may, before you get caught up in this, think about this. Maybe slow down for 5 minutes. Think a few minutes about something. And maybe older gentlemen like myself can help people out. Now, Killian, he ain't a spring chicken, I know that, but he's, 48, 46-year-old, something like that. How old is Killian? He ain't 50 yet.
No, I don't reckon he is. I don't know what class he's in. I remember him around when I was in school, but I don't know how old he is.
Well, he ain't my age as a point. He'd be,
he might be late 30s, honestly. I think he might be late 30s.
I figured it. Well, he must have been living hard or something, because you look at him, he don't look, he looked like he'd either look a little older than he should or whatever, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if that's fair to say, but...
Well, it is, it is what it is. Killing him. Killing makes it right. Whatever it is, Killing, I guess you can make it right. Todd says to... So now we got some questions here. People asking advice. People sent some questions in. We got we'll see if Killian can make it right or not. And got a question here from Zimmy and Geraldine. But we'll get to that. I got a question, Killian. If you listen to this, is this how you get the? I don't know where they write you. I got the answers here, Todd. Whoever's listening, I don't know if any of you are paying attention to what's going on. But I tell you what, Killian, I got I got a question too. If you're gonna try to make it right, I'd like you to make something right. Make this right here. Like I said, I've been around for a few years, know how the world works. I'm surprised occasionally, here and there. Always something a little strange happening, but for the most part, I think I've known how to walk a walk, talk the talk, and get through life and know what to expect and, be let down when I'm supposed to and, sometimes try to make it better for myself. But I tell you what, I serve in the military. I've seen some wars. I've seen some dangerous things in this country. Hell, just in the past 4 years, seen some dangerous things happen to this country. I've been through a lot, as a lot of Americans have. This is ain't about me. This is about anybody, especially up in age like myself, that has seen the horrible things that I've had to sit through. Say you're my age, man or woman. I ain't trying to be sexist or nothing. Woman can feel the same way. And all you want in life is to sit down in a room with some good friends and maybe a few acquaintances, but people you're going to eventually be good friends with, because when you sit down and you talk about the deliciousness of gravy, you're going to find some sort of bond there. People bond all over every which a thing. Everybody, I collect funny books, or I buy, what are things people collect? A snow globe, or whatever it is. I don't know. People come together and they do fellowship and they say, I like this about this and I like this about this. But I tell you what, we all got to eat. Everybody got to eat. You ain't got to read a funny book. You ain't got to put a snow globe up unless it's maybe Christmas time. But you're all going to eat, and occasionally you tell me, I'm not saying to have gravy every meal. Nobody should, maybe, I guess, for health reasons, but Lord knows you want to. Lord knows you wish you had whatever it is I'm eating. In my head, I'm thinking, what gravy would taste good poured over this, whatever it is. Pizza, fish, it's just in the back of my mind, and I know I ain't the only one, and the reason I know I ain't the only person that feels that way about that is that I used to be able to get together in person, and I understand there's a pandemic right now. Things are difficult, so I adapted, I learned how to work a computer more than I ever knew how to before, and just to give me that little bit of joy. That 30 minutes to an hour where I could sit with friends and we could talk about gravy, white gravy, brown gravy, consistent gravy, the gravy that didn't mix, horse gravy, every kind of gravy. We would be able to sit there and talk about that and not have any issues. We could put all the troubles in the world out of our brains just for that little time, just that little moment that we could have together. Not worry about any cat food being mad at us because we said gravy lovers. I ain't got nothing against fancy feast. I ain't got nothing against cats. God love them. I like my time for kitty cats and petting them and watching funny little videos. I like that too. But I also want my gravy time. And it don't necessarily ruin the gravy time if you got to hold the cat up and show everybody you got a damn cat there, whether it's yours or something you got down the street. So be it. I'll do that. But I ain't a rich man. Are you listening to this, Killian? I am not a rich man. And as much as I like little funny cat songs about cuddling cats or petting cats or whatever, that's fine. I can't afford to front the bill for every one of them. How am I supposed to do that? Why am I supposed to do that? I just won't talk about gravy. I'm sorry. Decky Alamo. I'm sorry, Miss Gwen Daisy Lay. You have a beautiful voice. You sound wonderful. I wish I could hear you sing all sorts of songs, let alone just a little cat song, a little cuddling cat song club, whatever it is. I just won't talk about gravy. I don't have time for people who are so busy to come into your life and try to stand up for you and say, yes, I'm here for you, and be a good friend. Someone you could count on. Someone I thought Todd was. Oh, he understands. Sure, he seemed a little hard about demanding this money, and you'll get your money, Todd. You'll get your damn money. I'll never get to hear that little cat funny song again. Never wanted to hear it in the first place, but nobody else will. But you'll get the damn money for it. I just want to sit around and talk about gravy with my friends. That's all. So, Killian, you tell me right now how you make that right. I tell you one way you make it right. Reach in that big fat wallet of yours and pay Todd the money he owes Dickie Alamo and Miss Gwen Daisy Lay. Not to no fault of their own. They're just doing a job. They don't care what kind of song they got to write. You pay them so much money, it'd be a song about a cat. Hell, if I really had to pay them, I would have preferred a gravy song, which I ain't enough of, I'll say right now, which I wish I could be sitting around with a group of people talking about. There ain't enough gravy songs. There ain't enough gravy songs. That's how I want to spend my twilight years. These are the things that I want to bother me. Not that the insurrection and the plague is killing us all. Just give me 32 minutes to an hour to talk to my friends about gravy. So, Killian, if you want to make this right, pay Todd whatever the hell it is I owe him. Make sure that money gets to Miss Daisy Lay, Dickie Alamo, Billy Church Jr., Fancy Feast, if I owe them some money, whoever I owe money to. I can't think of any other way you could make this right, but, do your best. That's my sponsor. Killian makes it right.
So that is Gravy Lovers.
No, it ain't. I wish it was. It's Killian makes it right. I do. You give me $25, which I gave myself to pay for this. If I'm paying for it, I'm going to do it right. I ain't going to give you no excuse to make me have to pay another $25. Killian makes it right. Make it right, Killian. I'm waiting. Make it right. There's a lot of stuff in this world that needs to be made right. But see if you can just make this old man talk about, see if you can do that first. That should be minor. After that, make sure you get a vaccine to all the states to take care of the world. But just to start off, we start at the small end of the pool. Just dip your toe in there and see if you can make it okay for me and my friends to talk about gravy. For 30 minutes. I'll take it down to 20, 15. How about that? 15 minutes on the computer looking at my friends talk about gravy.
I'll be honest, I don't think he's going to respond.
Well, I don't give a damn. I guess he can't make it right then, can he? Guess there's a bunch of bull hockey, he told Todd.
Jackie, I can tell you're upset. But I got a sponsor this week that I think you're really going to like. I say that all the time, but I do think that this week, with all that's been going on in the world, you obviously need a little more sleep. I think it's important for us to celebrate our friends and the people we know, and whenever they run into success. Now, Jackie, I'm sure you remember Long Lasting Revival Holiness Church. They were in all the papers when they were having COVID-vival. Very successful. They kept shortening it, the name and the banners. And they church was filled every week. can't tell us we can't worship in person. You can't tell us we have to wear a mask. In the middle of chaos is when we need church the most, Jackie. And after that, a giant sinkhole opened up in the church building.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you heard about that.
I did, yeah.
Ate up some pews. And then they started to hold a whole revival there. Because freedom of religion says you can't keep me from jumping in this sinkhole. Sinkhole opens up in church. That is a test. God is testing us, and he's saying, are you scared of this sinkhole, or are you scared of going to hell? Well, you got to go. You got to show God that you ain't scared of no sinkhole. You got to stand up for Jesus. You can't deny Jesus by not jumping in that sinkhole. So whole Bible, boy, you thought co-Bible was big. Whole Bible had a line stretched out in the parking lot up into the hills, people waiting to get into that church and jump in that sinkhole or possibly be pushed. Or some of Brother Wake Birchie's kids would be up in the rafters dropping shit on people's heads from up above, and then they'd lose consciousness or just balance and fall into the hole. You never knew what was going to happen, how you were going to go down into that hole when you went to Whole Bible. And people said, this is America. I worship how I want. We're going to preach whole Bible till all beneath the earth. You can't tell us nothing. Whole Bible till Jesus takes us all. At the long-lasting revival holiness church, the hole kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the poisonous gases that come out of it, which amusingly enough could have been kept out of your body by wearing a mask. But you couldn't wear a mask in the long-lasting revival holiness church. They started spelling it Holey. You could wear a mask, but people would rip it off. It's freedom of religion, but that doesn't mean you can get my face with your mask. And of course, the night weasels that come out.
That's the part right there. That's the one thing that the whole I'm fine with, and hell, hardly anybody wears a mask anywhere. But those at night, hell, I wouldn't mess with that.
Well, look, that's why there's Baptists and that's why there's Presbyterians. People always have a little difference of doctrine, but for the most part, we all know what gets you into heaven. We all know what keeps you out of it. And we all know that night weasels are made of shadow and fang, long like a slinky, tall as an omen dog, claws clattering around the walls and ceiling as they circle, their faces claiming the light, save for the three red glowing eyes that never stop scanning for your neck. That's the night weasels, a bridge too far for Jackie Broyles, but some people just don't love the Lord as much as other people do.
And I ain't got nothing to do loving the Lord that don't want wild animal hurting you in him. I'm not saying they could kill you, but I don't want to have them
Jackie
scare me.
This country was made for freedom of religion for everybody.
All right, fine. I ain't got nothing to do with. Just don't say the people love God more than me. I don't want to hear about any of them people because they ain't none of them.
Okay. So we'll just leave it there, Jackie, but I will just say I'm glad I am not your soul.
That's for a lot of reasons. Just shut up.
Now, Jackie, do you remember that store that had all the bells and whistles?
Closed down.
The bells and whistle store, yeah, it closed down. It was in the strip mall next to the damn Buy and Smoke. And then it was the bells and whistle store, and then it was Dippy's Pizza Hand.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they closed down the bells and whistle store, and then another sinkhole opened up there. And then what happened was that a lot of the people, not all of them, but we found that a lot of the people that jumped into the church, the long-lasting revival holiness church, some of them come up this other sinkhole. So that was weird. And then they were just kind of hanging out in the back room of Dippy's Pizza Hand, because a lot of the teenagers that work at Dippy's Pizza Hand, and Jason, Jacob, Jaron, Jared, JC, Jara, Jayla, the Chubby is assistant manager. You know how during Christmas time at Dippy's Pizza Hand, he has all the teenagers dress up like nativity scene, like shepherds, a lot of shepherds, because it's easy to get a robe. It was until Christmas time at the Holiness Revival Sinkhole Church, where people started showing up. They had this big thing like, oh, let's do nativity in the sinkhole. So they dress up. They went to Walmart. They got a robe, got a plastic sheep. Just took a long running jump in that sinkhole like nativity, and then they was gone, never to be heard from again unless they come out the other sinkhole next to Dippy's Pizza Hand. So a lot of people buying robes. There was a run on robes. Before the run on robes, it was easy for a teenager to get their hands on a robe. And with those big roomy pockets, lots of places for teenagers to hide their drugs while they worked at their shift at the pizza restaurant. So, Jackie, the folks who come out the other end of the hole thought they were in heaven because they looked and they just saw people who looked like heaven, shepherds and angels and sheep. It smelled like pizza. So why would it not be heaven? And when they told them, no, y'all ain't in heaven, they thought it was a trick to get them to leave heaven. And then they'd be like, oh, you fell for it. Because Christians today, Jackie, are constantly under attack. And we know what it means to be tested constantly and asked to deny Jesus. You can't walk down the street these days without being asked to deny Jesus. Jackie, will you deny Jesus?
It's everywhere. It is, yeah.
Will you do it right now? Will you deny Jesus for our
No,
listeners?
I ain't going to deny Jesus. What the hell are you talking about?
That's right. No, you don't. You pass the test. Well, they think it's the same thing. They in there, they'd be like, oh, it's like saying Merry Christmas, it's Happy Holidays or whatever. It's like God. They all think Chubby's God because he's got that long hair. He's obviously in charge. And get the good nature. You know how good natured he is. Well, it's hard to understand what he's saying because he's like,
ain't nobody that's further from God than Chubby, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, when it comes to just being a nice person,
he's all right, yeah. But I mean, he ain't God.
I mean, okay, yeah, I'm sure God is a nicer person than Chubby.
Yeah.
Although, would you say that God is responsible for COVID?
Well, again, there's stuff that God does, and I don't understand it. It ain't for me to understand.
Yeah, me either. I don't like going down that road because then it just gets really dark and confusing fast. Let's just blame it on Trump
or anybody else. True. Well, if Trump had, told people to wear a mask, at least half of people wouldn't be dead. I think we could safely say that. Half, yeah.
He wouldn't have even had to take it that much more seriously than he did to save a bunch of lives. So I think we can safely blame it on him, and you don't have to question your faith.
But, if you listen to Trump supporters, God is the one that put him in the White House to begin with. So I don't know. It's a big circle, go round and round.
So you can understand the whole jumpers' confusion and why they might mistake Chubby for the Lord.
When you put it that way, yeah. Yeah.
And you can see why they would think that Chubby is a God who's constantly trying to trick them out of leaving heaven, which is just the stock room of Dippy's Pizza Hand, which they changed to Dippy's Pizza Nativity because teenagers dressed as shepherds is apparently one way to get people to buy more pizza. So they will not leave. Chubby and the teenagers, Jason, Jacob, Jared, JC, Jara, and Jayla have been constantly calling. Like, I think it's Mark Williams. His mama's been looking for him. Let's call her. And she comes down there and say, Mark, is that you? And he said, I ain't leaving heaven. I work here now. I work here in heaven. And Chubby's put them to work. I said, you still have to value their labor, even if they jumped in the sinkhole because they're idiots. He said, do I? And he may have a point. So Mark Williams' mama comes down there and he ain't leaving. And plus he spelled his name with a C and she said he spelled it with a K. Oh, that's the other part I should mention, that a lot of these people coming out of the hole seem to be versions of themselves from other dimensions. Jackie, you're familiar with the Mandela effect, right?
Yeah, no, I just think all that's drugs. That's just confusing people. The drugs there, people smell it, it gets in them somehow, and they get confused and think that name's with a C instead of K.
I'm not going to say drugs don't play a part.
Yeah.
But how would you say the Berenstain Bears spell their own names?
I don't know. I did that. and I understand whoever wrote the Berenstain Bears probably weren't doing drugs. Probably weren't, because there's so much Bible in it. But still, I don't know. It depends. Maybe somebody did it one way, somebody took over, then they realized he was doing it wrong. But by then, the 4 or 5 books were already out, and did nobody notice? Thing went on.
That's a possibility. But another possibility is that these sinkholes are connections to other dimensions, other versions of Jackie's. A lot of people that we met, or the teenagers tried to convince me that were from other worlds, said that there's a Jackie Broles on their planet, but they spelled it Broiles.
Oh, ain't but one of me.
And I thought, well, that's funny. That's something to think about. A lot of times the teenagers come out, and Chubby had like changed the spelling on name tags. And we're like, okay, well, he's pulling a joke. But then some of the teenagers started changing their names too. Like they'd come out and be like, I know JC was Jaacey, but she'd say, no, it's always been Jaycee. Or Jared would have 2 R's, or Jaron would have 1, or Jason would have a Y and 2 N's and an E. Like that looks like Jay Sonny. But he said, no, it's Jason. You know me. So me and the teenagers going down exploring these other worlds as the challengers of the Dunstone, except it's hard for me to get down in all those crevices. So I never got to actually see another world. I only got to hear them tell me the stories. And I guess you could say that these were teenagers trying to trick their older but still youthful friend. But I mean, there's so much evidence, Jackie. There's so much evidence, and a lot of it could be brought on by secondhand smoke or some of the pills I found under the cooler. But it's also a lot that's probably not brought on by any of that. And how are we to say, look, it got weird. It did get weird last week. I think if you remember me telling you that me and Chubby followed the teenagers out to the Long Lasting Revival Holiness Church, the first church with the first hole. This is how they build themselves now. And we saw Brother Wink Birchie and Brother Winky Birch. Y'all remember this. We talked about this. One of them does insurance. One is the holiness preacher out there. But they're very similar. They look a lot alike. They both got a bunch of kids. They look almost the same. They're around the same age. They live next door to each other. They both worked at Kroger in school. They both got fired at the same time for stealing candy. They both love to eat candy. They both go by brother. They're both very religious. And I could have sworn I saw them kids and one of the Winky Birches throw the other one in a hole. Like the night weasels only responded to one Winky Birch. And I was like, did I hallucinate this, Chubby? And Chubby fall asleep because he's been putting in a lot of hours there overseeing them hole jumpers because they don't know how to make a pizza. It's free labor, but I guess you get what you pay for. And then he had to get the car back before his daddy went to work. So I did not know when we last spoke last week. I did not know what had happened. Well, it seems like it was all a misunderstanding. Brother Winky Birch had to leave town unexpectedly. Or was it Wink Birchie? One of them is gone, and one of them is running. Still the pastor of the Long Lasting Revival Holiness Church, although they have taken down the signs and the pews, and they filled in the sinkhole. He got a backhoe. Is that what you call it, backhoe?
I don't know.
Just a bulldozer. One of them big tractors.
Yes, backhoe.
He filled the shit in. He filled the shit in with that hole.
It's about time, hell.
And he filled in the hole at the other place too, at the former Bells and Whistles. That is just now a storefront full of dirt. And the one Wink Birchie, apparently somebody got sick. COVID. There's so many reasons people could get sick and had to leave town immediately.
Yeah.
And the other one's still there. It's not a church anymore, but he's saying that you can't worship there in the way you worshiped before, but you can worship there by buying an insurance policy.
What?
From the long-lasting insurance company.
No.
And he invites all the parishioners. He's got this great insurance policy. You can insure your salvation. Like maybe you think, am I really saved? Well, now you pay money to Wink Birchie Wink, whichever one it is, every month. And you're like, okay, well, I'll just show this to God when I get up here if they give me any problems. It's also got a new night weasel policy. It's very expensive. It doesn't cover very much, but he says you don't want to be caught without a night weasel policy, especially as the night weasels obey my every command.
Well, he got a point there. If you there in the church and there's night weasels everywhere, you prepare yourself some way. I understand where you're coming from on that end.
Yeah, well, ever since he filled in the hole and changed it to an insurance company, the night weasels pretty much just roam freely, roam the land. So I don't know if they get up Smyrna, Lebanon. I don't know how far up they get, but if you live in Murfreesboro, you're probably going to want a night weasel policy. That's not my sponsor. That's just advice. And insurance companies, I mean, no offense, but they can really screw you when the damage comes due. But like, would you rather pay an expensive policy than not pay an expensive policy and get attacked by night weasels anyway, or especially because you don't have the policy? I don't know. These are questions that you're going to have to ask yourself. I can't do the math on it. I never was that good at math. But it is a threat that you want to take seriously. And the teenagers, by the way, if you talk about happy endings, I hope that they're happy, because they said, they left me a note. They said, Dunlap, we have found a beautiful, fulfilling poly relationship in another dimension with different versions of ourselves.
Wow.
So they're all just kind of living there, fucking doing drugs.
All right.
On another, and they said this was a planet dimension version of ourselves where nobody ever jumped in no sinkhole.
With drugs.
I'm not sure exactly how they got there. With drugs, yeah.
Yeah.
Jayla, she was not sure. She told me that she wanted to finish school, but instead she just enrolled in over there in MTSY, Middle Tennessee State University, YOO.
Yeah.
Do drugs. But I just want to say, Jackie, just to wrap this all up, it's been so full of misunderstandings and, well, is this real or am I on drugs? But the most important thing, I think, is that Chuby's Pizza Nativity is sponsoring us today.
Oh.
Yeah, Dippy apparently also had to leave town, and I said, that's funny that he leaves town right when they fill in all these sinkholes so that if you got pushed or dropped in there, you can't get out. Or he said, yeah, it's fun. He just laughed. He's so good natured and nice. He's also got the hole jumpers still. They've set up an encampment in the back, and he is trying. They just do not want to learn to make pizza, but they can't leave. They're just stuck. They don't enjoy what they're doing, but they can't leave because it's now just like what they're used to. And Chuby goes, that's capitalism, or whatever. And I'm like, this ain't Twitter. You don't have to bring that in here. But Chuby's Pizza Nativity, folks, a real success story. Somebody who was having trouble, got clean sober, had some problems in his life. Me and Jackie helped him out. A bunch of other people did. Now he's got all set up over there. And if you want pizza and you want to look at a storefront full of dirt next door, hey, you want to buy some cigarettes, go on over to the strip mall, and the big anchor there now is Chuby's Pizza Nativity. Folks, you are going to love that pizza, or my name ain't Dunlop.